Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Can you believe that it's 2026? I can believe it because it's here. So happy New Year to everyone. I am so happy to see you. You have joined us for the first show of the Power of Transformation. And we're so happy to be back here live and in person. Isn't that amazing? Just really happy to be in this place. There's a lot going on, but we're glad to be here with you. I am your hostess. I am Dr. Paula OB, and I am glad to have just one of my best friends here tonight. And we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. You know, when I say they're one of the best, they have a lot to share, and you're not going to be disappointed. But you know what we do? Well, do you remember what we do? Well, we want to tell our friends, we want to tell our family that the Power of Transformation broadcast is on with Dr. Paula Obi, and they don't want to miss it. Well, just in case you don't remember, we text them. We call them if we have time. We send them a message and we say, the Power of Transformation broadcast is on. Come on now, you don't want to miss it. Let's do it. And you know, when I ask you to do that particular task, I'm going to do the same thing. And then we're going to be right back. Good to be back. I'm so grateful. As I said before, we've got through 2025 and now we're in 2026. And my prayer is that everything is going well with you. We do have a great, exciting year coming. I'm just saying it's going to be great. Definitely, we're going to kick it off with an amazing topic with one of the best friends in the whole wide world that I have. Could not do this show without her. And we're just going to bring her in. And that's Miss Noel Ramos.
Hi, Paula.
Ooh. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's been too long.
It's been a long time. You know, we've been busy doing other things, and we've been busy girls, haven't we?
Ooh, too busy.
Too busy.
It's time to reconnect.
we have tried to, but you know, our shows have been so good. Our replays, every time we replay, especially when we're talking about the financial piece, I get a lot of views and a lot of folks texting saying that was really great. I needed it. So, hey, God knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
He sure does. And we're going to produce another one of those shows that speaks to somebody out there.
That's right. And that's our job. Our job is to have conversations that are going to empower others and help them make great decisions and help them transform their thinking. And tonight is going to be no different. Tonight, we're doing basically the same thing we did last year, where we started off with a new year. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to bounce back and forth. Now, some of it is going to be scripted and some not. So we'll have to be prepared. Just be prepared, because we want to share with you our heart. And I always say that you are the financial guru. You really, last year, the first quarter, you kicked us off pretty nicely. Ooh. And then I replayed it later, and folks really gleaned a lot from you. This is why we needed to have you back. So you talk a little bit, and then I'm going to have some conversation, but I'm just going to turn it over to you. You had a theme that I thought was amazing that I want you to hear.
Our theme, we want to set the tone today, and we want to make it a judgment-free place. And so what is it? It's a new year. Everybody has New Year's resolutions. So I think our topic today should be New Year and new money plan.
Yeah.
Right?
I am so with you. If you've been watching the news, if you've been living every day, we're busy trying to glean new information as to how to manage our money more effectively, our resources more effectively. So I think this is a great kickoff topic, and we're not going to just kick it off one time. No. Because of the feedback that I've received, we need to continue to keep this moving, because we all need encouragement and we all need support. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Oh, I agree with that 100%. If you don't have that support system, and let me clarify, the right support system. You don't want that person who's just your cheerleader and agrees with everything you say, right? You want somebody who's going to give you a little bit of pushback, but also be there to support you and put you in that corner and have somebody in that corner that's going to also help you and not just say a yes, ma'am. Because we love those kind of people because, oh yeah, thanks, I'm the best. But those aren't the kind of people we always necessarily need.
And why? Why? Because we may not make a really good decision for ourselves. It will sound good, but it might not always, as my grandmother used to say, it might not be good for you. So it may not be as effective. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I agree 100%. And so what we want to do today is kind of start the new year. Don't look back at last year. The last year is done. So we want to look back at last year without any shame. It's over. It's done with. You may have done great. That's good. You may have not done so great. That's okay. It's a lesson learned, right? So we're going to look, if last year wasn't your best year, if you kind of missed the mark on stuff, we're going to look back at last year with zero shame.
I love that. I really love that because there are many times where we do feel shame because maybe we've made a decision that had a negative impact on our finances and even other areas. But I love the fact that at this place where we are now, we're not going to talk about shame. We're going to talk about moving forward. We're going to talk about making better decisions, and we're going to give people an opportunity to make good decisions. And I think that's great.
Yeah. And, it's a new year. You need to give yourself hope. You need to give yourself some kind of resolution, and you need to give yourself some kind of, and I'm going to say this, realistic goal. Not just a goal, a realistic goal that you can reach and you can attain, and make it a little bit more specific and not so, general or broad. You're like, oh, I want to save money. Okay, great.
Right. You want to have those goals that you can actually reach. Those goals. Yes. Happy New Year, Dr. Hines. How are you?
New Year.
Teachable goals and teachable goals. Lord knows we've learned a lot. We're going to learn something every day. But those teachable and those reachable goals are really powerful and important to us.
Yeah. And, we want it to be about clarity, not necessarily perfection. We're not going to be able to be perfect. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of miss the mark, because if something goes wrong, then like, they throw their hands up in the air. I can't do this. It's not working. So our goal is not to reach perfection. It's just to reach clarity and know that you need to attain a certain goal.
And the good news is every situation is a teachable situation for us.
Oh, yeah.
So we can definitely learn from all of those opportunities. I'm going to say opportunities. Even if we didn't hit the mark, we can learn from them.
Oh, I agree 100%. I mean, I know you have some stories you want to share, but because, we're going to just keep circling back, having the right people in your corner, having that spouse or having that partner or, accountability partner. You need to have somebody, because we can't always do it on our own, even if it's somebody to check and say, hey, this is my goal. And having that person check in and say, hey, how close are you to your goal?
Right. In a non-threatening way. And I'm using the word advocate. That's become a really big term for me. You need to have advocates around you, and then you need to be an advocate for someone else, because what you're doing is doing exactly what you said. You're working as a team. You kind of the review person, pushing them forward, making sure that things work. And an advocate is someone who's in your corner. And we want real advocates. We don't want anyone around us who's pretending to be an advocate just so they can step in and really mess things up. I'm going to say those words, and you can't press the undo button quickly, but to really be on your side where you have that clear communication and that T word, which is trust.
No, I agree. And so, as we get older, and we may not be as quick with our responses. We may not be as quick as we used to with our thinking. And that's why you hit it spot on, where you need to have somebody you trust, an advocate you trust, because you might think the person that you have next to you is meaning well, but are they really meaning well? You need to make sure, because you're about to trust somebody, as you get older with your finances. I know we switched gears a little bit, but
that's okay. You're fine.
Yeah, we gotta trust somebody with our finances. When we get older, we need to have that person where if we put them on our bank account, can I trust them with my money? if I let them have power of attorney over me? Do I trust them with, in essence, your life?
Yeah, yeah. And yes, we will bounce back and forth a little bit, but I believe with every statement that we make, I believe all of those statements are really important. And just reflecting on my year, I've learned so much about just having really good people in your corner, and they're knowledgeable. They're great folks and they're knowledgeable and they want to help you achieve your goal, you know? So I like this conversation. I think it's going to be a blessing to someone. I've learned a lot in 2025 and I appreciate you saying that. I've even gone back to look at some of our replays. We've played them, from before to just kind of help refresh my memory and then dug a little deeper. So we're going to go forward today. I love this conversation.
No, I agree with you 100%. And so it's important to have that plan in place, because without that plan, where are you going?
Right.
It's like a GPS. If you don't know, if you want to go somewhere you've never been to before, you're going to need GPS. You're going to need her whispering in your step-by-step instructions. And a lot of the times it's people don't need to make more money. You might on occasion, but a lot of times people don't need to make more money. They just need to put a plan in place and stick to that plan. And, that's an ugly word sometimes. Budgeting's an ugly word sometimes, like, oh no.
Ouch.
Oh, just let me swipe that card and spend my money how I want to spend it. But budgeting and planning are two main important plans that you need to have in place.
It's a great tool, and I want to say hello and welcome to Lynn Hines. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I think I can't give you another term for budgeting, but I can definitely say it is a tool to help you put the plan in place. And it's really funny because I've always known how much I love shoes.
Me too.
I've always known that, but last year I realized you don't need more shoes. Budgeting says you're fine with that. Let's move on to something else. And that's what that tool does. I love shoes.
I put myself in timeout. I started noticing I was getting a bunch of Amazon orders, and my husband didn't say anything to me, but I'm like, he's just like another one, and I'm like, ooh, I need to put a pause button on, because it's way too easy just to have that stuff delivered to you. You don't even have to go anywhere anymore, and it's way too easy to go past your budget and not even think about it.
It really is. And so what we want to say today is there's a plan that's going to help you move forward and reach your goals. So we're not going to be upset about the shoes. I'm not sending them back.
No.
They look nice. They're beautiful. And I have the outfit to go with it. But what I want to do is I want to shift my focus so that my love for everything else runs smoothly. And I think if we think about it that way, the plan helps things to run a lot more effectively, because that's our role in life, to really have a plan to help us. And we know money has to pay for a lot of things. A lot of folks don't want to talk about it. And that's why this environment is really relaxed, however powerful. And you're going to help us build a really good budget and love the budget and know that it's doable. Mm-hmm. It's something that we can work with, and then update it if it's not working.
Yeah, I agree. And so I know we said we're not going to look on last year with any kind of shame. No, but I want you to look at last year and think about things you did right. What? Yeah. What? How would you? Yeah. Feel good. Pat yourself on your back. I know you did something right. So, what did you do last year that you felt really went well? And you're like, I need to implement that again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I used to have a rule, and I promise I'm going to let you move forward. But I used to have a rule years ago. I'd spend 6 months buying something and 6 months paying it off.
Okay.
And it was like, this is it. After this, you can't, and we're talking about continuously taking care of all of the important things. Mm-hmm. However, that you have probably in that 6 month time, purchase some things with the mindset of now you get to pay. And let's practice getting it down to zero.
That interest free.
Interest free. Yeah. So I think just talking about it the way we're speaking on it, if someone is having a tough time, this is the kind of atmosphere you want to create for yourself.
Right.
To say, we can do this.
Right. And that's another thing you need to look at. What was it that stressed you out or may have surprised you last year that you did as well? We're not talking about shame, leave that at the door. We're talking about what stressed you out. So, what kind of purchases did you make that may have stressed you out? Or what did you need to purchase that stressed you out where you didn't have enough funds because you were already strapped and we weren't ready for that AC to go down or your car to break down? So what stressed you out last week or last year? And let's think about that for a minute. What could we have done better, been more prepared for that?
Yeah. That is just really key, because when you start asking yourself, what could I have done more effectively? You're not beating yourself up. You're really being truthful to you. You know you
Yeah.
can do things more effectively. That's a great way to start creating a plan. Just glance and say, what could I do? What could I have done better? Let's start the plan. I think that's a great one, because I really believe that it doesn't matter what budget we give ourselves. We have to implement it effectively. And we have to like the fact that we're moving towards a goal that's going to help us.
I agree. And when you're looking back at this stuff from the previous year, don't label yourself. I don't want you to label yourself, oh, I'm just bad with money. No, get that out of your head, because you know what? Then you're beating yourself up. And it's the easiest thing in the world to beat yourself up. It's more easier for you to beat yourself up than to find positive things. So don't label yourself as somebody who's bad at managing money. We don't want you to do that. We just want you to find the opportunities and find out if you're creating some kind of pattern. Is there a pattern in your life that maybe you didn't want to think about or you have been avoiding? Let's identify that pattern and let's try to change it.
I like that.
Tweak it.
So tonight, our psychological conversations really are key, because how we think about things matter.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't beat myself up and I'm like, we can make improvements, that sends the right message to our brain, and then we'll send the right message to our budget, and we'll have time to practice.
Yeah, because you cannot let one bad year define what your future is. Because then when we get in this rut, this one bad year, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna do better. And then maybe the next year you don't do better. Then and that's where it just becomes a vicious cycle. So you can't let this one bad year, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe even 5 years. You cannot let that define who you are. And you have to take control of your own patterns, your own goals, your own plans. That's where it comes, where you got to be a little bit more maybe disciplined than you were previously.
And if you, as you said, if you approach it with a more positive attitude, I think you'll be more successful. Someone said the other day, I'm keeping all of my pennies because they're not making pennies anymore. And they realized they had all these pennies. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're being cautious because some of the pennies may be worth something. So they're buying this tool to see if their pennies are worth something more than a penny.
I was reading on that today too, actually.
So, she's like, I'm going through my pennies and I'm scanning them to make sure. So her attitude is positive.
It is.
Right? And while she's doing that, what she's saying to herself is, I'm not worried about that credit card right now. I'm actually focused on the cash at hand. I like that. We have to start somewhere.
No, I agree. Yeah. And so 90% is mental, 10%, is just money wise. And I mean, and it all just comes down to not beating yourself up. I can't stress that enough. In getting it, we want to make sure you got all these interest payments piling up. You got all these credit cards piling up, and you don't want to write them down. You're scared. I've been there. I mean, I'm scared to look at really what's, when I have that plan in front of me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this much money is leaving me. I didn't even realize how much money is going out of my house. And so you need to have that written plan. You just got, if it's you and the spouse, or if it's just you need to do it together. If it's you and someone else, right? Because you're partners. You have to do it together, because if not, then you're getting to the point where one's doing it, one's not doing it. And then here comes resentment. That's a whole nother segment. But you want to make sure you have everything in place, and you want to make sure that you have 3 things that you know. You need to know what your expenses are. And I'm not talking about a budget. You need to know what expenses are. What is coming out of that house? What are you paying for each month? And they need to be like more truer numbers, because a lot of people, they kind of just, I think about this, I think about that, roughly. Pull out those bank statements, pull them out. Because you know what? You're going to realize you're swiping that card a lot more than you realize, because then you got lunches, your little snacks. I knew one girlfriend of mine, I had to get on to her because she spent a lot of money on gas station snacks. I was like, girl, what is up with you and gas stations? She's like, I don't know. I just love getting my little gas station snacks, until she realized those gas station snacks were adding up.
Yeah.
So you might not realize how much, gas station snacks are adding up. So you got to know what's leaving your house.
Yes. Because, just to be frank, we work really hard. I don't know anyone who can say that their job is easy. I haven't met them. If you can say that, then you just come to me and let's talk. I'd love to have you on the show. We could just talk about it. However, we work really diligently. How about that? Let's say diligently to bring in those funds.
Yes.
To cover and keep us and take care of us, and take care of our family, and take care of our responsibilities. So knowing what's going out is key, because of how hard I work every single day to bring in those funds.
No, I agree.
So I love that attitude towards budgeting, because you're just trying to make sure that you have what you need. Yes. Because you work hard enough to bring it in.
And if you work those gas station snacks into your budget, so be it. But if you don't have enough money at the end of the month, they gotta stop.
Then that's a great place. That's a great place to start looking. I'm like, okay, maybe I could go to Costco and buy those, those boxes of, of snacks. But if you approach it with the attitude of doability, it's doable, right, Noel?
Exactly. It's 100% doable, and it all goes down to mindset. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to get out of debt? Or how bad do you want to save up for that dream vacation or your dream car or new house? How bad do you want it, where you're going to get yourself mentally set to get in place?
So give us some tips for getting mentally set. I know you and I bouncing off of each other, and you'll come back with the charts and everything, but let's try to encourage the correct mental status. It's the 7th day of the year.
Schedule it. I'm going to tell you, schedule something in place. That way, it's coming. You can't talk yourself out of it. A lot of times, I'll do it later. I'll do it. And then put it in the schedule. If you're married, put it in you and your husband's schedule. Get it on the books and say, on this day, we're going to talk about finances. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. We're just going to sit down. It's black and white. Numbers don't lie. We need to do this. We're going to write out all our bills and kind of just work it from there. We're just not going to beat ourselves up. We're not going to stress about what's happened in the past has happened. We're moving forward. Mm-hmm. So you need to have that in place. You need to know how much is going out. You need to know how much is coming in. And then you need to know how much I need to save for an emergency fund. A lot of the times, that's one of those things that may have stressed you out last year, right? Because we didn't have an emergency fund. That's a bucket that is important. Probably one of, it's the top ones that are important. Make sure you've heard this before, make sure you're paying yourself. Make sure you have that emergency fund. So that way, when those stressful moments come, they're a little bit less stressful.
And planning those meetings with that attitude won't be so hard. Even if you have to, I'm the only one in the room when I'm planning them. However, I make it so that I'm going out there every day, because things happen every day for me. But you're removing the stress and the strain, and you're giving yourselves an opportunity to really be authentic and approach it in a safe way, but in a better way than just beating yourself up. And we have to refrain from calling ourselves names, and
calling your partner names.
No name calling. We have to have rules. We're just going to get through this, and we're going to grow from it. That's okay to do. It's okay.
Yeah. And Paula, you said you have yourself, but you're not just setting a budget for yourself. You have your father now that you have to set your budget for. And if you don't mind me saying, you have another person where
I don't mind
now. Yeah. So now you have your brother who also you're a caregiver for, where you have to set that budget for him as well. So you're setting a budget for 2 households now. So that in itself, for 3 people. And, that could be stressful on its own where you don't want to deal with that, but it's something you got to do. And so, let's just pave out the path and we need to do this because now I'm taking care of 2 households.
And I will tell you, I'm glad you said that because many people are in my position as a caretaker. I'm now a full-time caretaker, and obviously now I have more than one person to look after. And that's why I'm out there looking at everything daily.
Yes.
And I get my cup of coffee. If you don't know me, yes, I love my coffee. Starbucks holiday blend, only comes to okay. And I'm relaxed. And I said, this is the week where we're just going to make sure everything's taken care of. And I'm relaxed for that moment and taking the time to review. It helps me get through it. Sometimes the phone will ring, I'll stop. Sometimes I'll text and say, I'll call you back because it's important for me to stay focused.
I love how you set your stage up, Paula. I love how you did. I don't know if you did that intentionally, if you just kind of slipped it in, but you set the stage for your planning. You said, I got my Starbucks cup of coffee. It relaxes me. You've already put yourself in that relaxing state of mind. You're like, and we're going to tackle this budget for 2 households now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you do it. And it was simple as finding that thing that relaxes you, which to you is your cup of coffee. Some people might be having soothing music in the background or, a glass of wine. Let's do this over a glass of wine and some dessert. So that way it's a relaxing moment for us to just tackle this plan.
And if you're listening to us, we're talking about it in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that has been the most effective tool for me because then when I had additional responsibilities, I just used the same type of planning. Takes longer, but I'm happy. I'm happy about it because I've practiced with me, and now I can just use those same principles for the others. I like it.
You're happy because, you're doing the right thing for you, your father, and your brother.
That's right. Yeah.
So you're setting these goals, you're doing the budgeting for both these households, and you're doing right by both of them. And you're not taking advantage of the situation. You're like, hey, I got your money, I got your checks, and I can buy me a bunch of new shoes. No, you're making sure that these men are being taken care of the correct way. And that's where it comes to having that trustworthy advocate on your side.
And that probably has been one of the best conversations that you and I could have. We're advocates. We're advocates for ourselves. And now I'm an advocate for 2 other folks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to meet those goals, my goals and their goals in a positive way. And I'm grateful for all the information that was given and has been given last year to date to help me. So thank you. You were a big part of that.
Oh, you're welcome. And, we keep talking about goals. Goals. We need to be specific with our goals. I want you to be intentional and I want you to think about your goals and be specific. I want you to stay away from being vague. We're like, oh, well, I want to get out of debt. Okay. Oh, I want to save more money. Okay. How? We need specific goals. I want to save, $1,000 by February 27th. Give yourself a deadline. Give yourself, and if you don't reach it, that's okay.
It's okay.
But give yourself a deadline. So that way, okay, I have until this time. Give yourself an attainable. Don't say I want to save $10,000 by February 27th because it ain't happening on my end. But let's give yourself some realistic goals. But give yourself a deadline and say, okay, by this time, I want to have this in place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, absolutely.
Stop being vague.
That's right, and it's not being vague, but it's a direct correlation into what's coming in,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, that's and you want to set those goals, short term, midterm, and long term.
Yeah.
I want to have $1,000 emergency savings by March 1st. Then, okay, ooh, I got that. Okay. Yeah, I got my $1,000. I got I'm feeling comfortable. I'm feeling good. Guess what? I want a new goal. I want to plan, a vacation for this date. I need to have, let's say $5,000. I don't know what kind of vacation, but, I need to have it's a nice vacation. Plane tickets are not cheap, but it's going to be happier expense right there. I want to save this much amount of money for my vacation. Now it starts getting fun because you're like, okay, I'm keeping myself out of debt. I've got an emergency fund. Let's start planning pleasurable stuff. Let's not just, be all doom and gloom. Like, okay, gotta pay these bills down. Let's sprinkle in pleasant stuff as well. Not just doom and gloom and pound it in, need to make sure you have that good balance as well.
I love the word balance. I love the word removing the doom and gloom. I think someone will say, how does this household manage and seem to be okay? I think it's maybe because they learned how to remove the doom and the gloom. They found a formula that works, and then they continue it. And then after a while, it just becomes automatic. We're going to do A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. And after a while, every month it's ABC 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm onto that. That's great. I can do that without even thinking about it. Well, now let's move on. And that's what you're saying. Let's build on that skill set. Now you're like clockwork. Let's move it up a little higher and reach another goal. I like that conversation.
Yeah, and you may have to set those monthly budget meetings, and you're gonna have to write this stuff down. A lot of times we just kind of like, it's in my mind. It's in my mind. Guess what? I don't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. I'll walk into the kitchen and completely forget what I walked in there, and I'm just staring at the refrigerator like, why'd I come in here? We've all done it. So yes. We need to write it down. We need to have that plan written out, or else we're going to forget what our goal is. It's just human nature.
It is. And I will tell you that we have the ability to wrap our arms and our mind and our emotions around anything. God created us that way.
Yeah.
So don't let anyone tell you can't do it. I'm looking into the screen. No, you can. We may have to practice a few times, but you do have the ability. I promise you do. If you desire, we want you to be encouraged tonight.
Yeah. And just, start thinking, you got to put it on paper. Start thinking about where your money is. Start thinking, is my money in this right spot?
What do you mean by that? Okay, so now we're going to talk about this. We're getting there. I know we're getting juicy, but we'll be back. I declare she'll be back next week. The right spot. I love those words. How do we do that? Just indulge me for a second.
I mean, because a lot of times, I don't know about you. I was always taught, you work hard, you put your money in the bank, or you put it under your mattress. But because we're scared, that's all we know. That's all we've been taught. But is our money growing under the mattress?
Well, no, pretty much.
Is it growing in the freezer? Is it even growing in the banks?
Well, not these days.
No. So that's where you got to start. Once you start getting to the point where, okay, I'm a little bit more comfortable. My debt's getting paid off. I'm contributing into, I'm tithing. I'm doing all these good things. Now I got to start thinking a little bit bigger now, because now I'm getting to a point where I'm comfortable. So now I got to think about, where am I going to put my money? You've all heard the saying, let your money work for you. We've all heard it. So now we need to start thinking about maybe investments.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to do an entire segment about that, right?
We can.
So we've got you tied up pretty much for the month of January, if you want, because there's so many wonderful things to discuss. And this is not a topic that's easy, but the way you present it sounds easier than a lot of people think. It can be done.
Yeah. And, before I did my own research, before I learned myself, before I got into this business myself, I was terrified. I knew I needed to do it. I knew I wanted to do it. I just didn't know how to do it, and I always was a person who contributed into my work 401k. I didn't know why. I just knew I had to do it because that's what I was told to do. I started contributing into whenever I was 19 years of age. I had the woman tell me, here, sign this, do this, and do this. Yes, ma'am. I'm grateful she did that for me because now I know. But you got to learn, at least have a little bit of understanding. Okay, let's start learning why we put our money in investments. Let's start learning about compounding interest and how, putting a little bit of money each month starts helping me grow my little savings account a little bit more than what it would just sitting in a savings account in the bank.
Yeah, because absolutely. Because that's in the times in which we are living, there are a lot of automatic deductions in these accounts, and things are getting a little different. So we want to learn how to have it, actually increase instead of the decreases with the expenses.
Yeah. And, I'm going to pick on you. That Starbucks coffee that you get, it's probably not the cheapest coffee. And I've had it where I've had a client where we'll do $25 every other week that comes out of it. Do you miss? Maybe you might, but a lot of times we don't miss $25 every other week that comes out of our checking because we're
Right,
too
right.
busy getting Starbucks.
Well, you know what's really funny about me and my Starbucks thing, I don't know if I've ever told you, Starbucks in my bit where I purchased the pods are only seasonal.
Oh,
So you purchase them for a few months and then they're all gone.
did you pull? Did you purchase in bulk?
Well, every time I'd go, I'd purchase one. You know, that was a sacrifice. But once they're gone, they don't come back until the next year, and then you have to do something else. But it's like you're aware of the fact that my God, their prices are going up. You know, nothing is staying the same. So I'm gonna have a new kind of coffee. I might switch back to hazelnut. You know, that might work for me.
Folgers is looking a lot better
Prices
these
is
days.
looking a lot better. Yeah, I'm looking. That hazelnut creamer can go in any kind of coffee, so I'm very happy.
Oh my
So maybe
God.
it's time to revisit that.
I don't, yeah, I was down the coffee aisle the other day and I don't drink coffee, but my husband does. And I was looking at one of those little small ones, like $15. I was like, why? Why? I was like, you're done with coffee.
But you know what I do love about the conversation that we're having? We're laughing, but we're serious. It can be done.
Again,
Yeah, all of these conversations that we're having with ourselves and with our partners and with our husbands and wives are meant to give us an opportunity to really take care of ourselves, less worry, you know. And we all God has given us the power to create wealth. We just need a plan as to
no, I
how
agree.
it's to be done.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, one, we're just too afraid to admit how far maybe our finances, we don't want to look at it. We don't want to see it. And another thing is we just try to do it alone.
Yeah. And with a bad attitude, you can't do anything with a bad attitude. Your
No.
attitude has got to improve. My coffee just makes me better, but it could be that water with lemon makes you feel better. Having a great attitude really matters, but especially when it comes to dealing with money. Someone told me that money was shy. Have you ever heard that?
No, tell me.
They said money's shy, so you have to really manage it well because it's a little shy.
I'm gonna steal that.
I thought I've never heard that before. I wonder if they really made it up because you know how some people are.
Whoever did, that's pretty good though.
Yeah, so
I
you
hope
have
they're
to really
watching.
hit it right way so that you'll have it. And I thought, okay, I get it.
That's a good one. What are you
I'm gonna write that down.
My new tagline on the bottom of my emails: "Money is shy." Ask me why.
And you know, I don't want to be laugh because I'm laughing because it's a good thing to do. I know that there are some people who are in trouble economically. I do know that.
Yeah.
And I realize that they need a plan, and that's what we're saying. No matter
Yes.
where you are, you can start today.
You can. And a lot, you want to start this plan and don't think it's going to happen overnight. You need to give yourself some grace because
I
you're
love
going to
that.
mess up.
I love the word grace. Grace and
Promise
mercy.
you. Yeah.
We need grace.
I promise you are going to mess up. You're going to slide. You're going to swipe that credit card. You're going to buy something stupid that you didn't want, you didn't need. Give yourself some grace.
Give yourself grace.
Learn from it. Make it a lesson learned and keep it moving.
And keep it moving because you still have the power to create wealth. You still have the power to work towards your goal. Yeah. Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That negative attitude doesn't seem to work well when it comes to moving towards goals. You're going to have that transformative mindset that says we're headed towards another goal. Let's just create another goal.
Create another one. If that goal didn't work for you, you didn't like it, throw it away. Try another one.
Try another one. Something you said last year that really, it just, I still remember those nuggets. You said, just be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself and say, okay, let's try a different approach.
Yeah. Because if you're not, deep down, you know what's going on. You may not want to admit it. You may not want to write it down. You may not want to write that, Kohl's credit card or Best Buy credit card. but you gotta.
Yeah.
You may want to keep it from your husband. Gotta.
And I want to say this. This is kind of funny. I am grateful to all my friends who gave me gift cards for Christmas presents.
I love gift cards.
I think that I look at them and I go, oh, let's use those.
I bought myself a gift card.
Especially
it was $10 off. I was like, I told my husband, I said, oh, I bought a gift card. He's like, why? I said, because it's $10 off. He's like, so you spent $40 for 50? I said, yeah, but I saved myself $10.
Someone will ask, well, what should I buy for this person? I say, get them a gift card. Because when you listen to them talk, and if there's a gift card, they'll use it for what they need.
See, I know. Starbucks gift card for you.
Well, they have some now, the gift cards where you can actually spend the card in several different places. I think that's kind of clever.
Yeah, I did like that.
So times have changed, but you can imagine that being something that someone says, okay, I have a gift card. So I may not have any cash, but I have a gift card. What I'm saying is that there are ways to do things.
Yeah.
There are ways for us to be more positive, grow our money. We're working too hard for us to be worried. Let's get a good plan, a proper plan.
No, I agree.
You say give yourself grace and mercy. We need that. And let's move it forward.
Yes. And when you've reached a goal, whether how small it may be, celebrate that goal. You did something good. You did something different. You made a plan and you reached it. You reached that goal. Don't just glaze over it. Celebrate it. Embrace it. You did
Celebrate it. Yes. This was probably one of the most positive financial conversations I've heard.
Yeah.
We will get into the nuts and bolts of it, but when you set the stage in this way, I really believe that what you're doing is getting people in the mindset that's required to create a plan that's doable. You have to have the right mindset when you're doing anything, especially finances.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Well, Noel, we're getting closer to our end time.
I know. It breezed by.
I know. I feel like we've just talked. I feel like there's so much more to say. And there is, and we'll be discussing it. However, I just want to say thank you. It's time to turn this power transformation train around. It's exited the station. And, as I always say at this time, that our broadcast is based on an excerpt from Romans 12 and 2. And I think it's so befitting for tonight. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And what we're saying is that you can transform your mind. You can renew your mind about finances and move it forward in a positive manner. And I just appreciate you. Noel Ramos is our financial guru. She will be joining us probably a whole lot more than she did last year because we really need this encouragement and we need these tools. And I'm grateful that you took the time to be with us tonight, Noel. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It's a new year, new money plan.
New year, new attitude, new plan. I love it. All right. So we're going to have to say goodnight to everyone. So Noel, do you have any words of wisdom to share with us?
Try to take it from, new year, new money plan from a place of humbleness. A place of, I'm going to do better. I'm going to be honest. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it at all.
Beat myself up. And I'm going to stay prayerful that I will have what I need. God will guide us and give us the strength that we need to get this done. And then we'll have the courage to perform the task. So that's all we have for you tonight. We will be back at another time. And like we have always said in the past, you need to trust the process. Trust the process and everything will start working out in your favor. And that's all we have. We're going to see you next week. Noel probably will be back. I haven't told her yet, but she probably will be back.
I just voluntold.
We'll take this discussion further, but we just appreciate you joining us tonight. And Noel, you have a good evening. Everybody enjoy your evening. Take care. Bye-bye. We love you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.